Hi everyone, how you doing? Hope you're all doing okay. Today is Tuesday the 21st of November 2023, and today I just want to read a little story that I found that was posted on a message board um, to help people who are looking for identification with um, gambling addiction and what it feels like. Now, not everybody who gambles will become gambling addicted to gambling. I'm not saying that gambling is going to make you addicted or anything like that, but there is a number of us who will go on, unfortunately, to develop gambling addiction. And the purpose of these videos is to try and enable people to enable and use this as a stepping stone in enabling people to find recovery from that. So I'm just gonna start off with this. Now, the person says, I started gambling on and off since my teens and never really won anything or lost anything either. And I would go for months at a time without even thinking about it. Then it all went wrong. So here he's talking about he was gambling and then hit a certain point uh, when it all started going downhill. I'm 33 now. I was off work for a few months with a medical condition and I was feeling down and thought it was just something to do as I laid in bed some days and I started to play online slot machines and suddenly I'd won £10,000. And he goes on to say this was my downfall. But then I nearly lost all of it, but I assured myself that I could get it back. So he's won £10,000, lost nearly all of it, and then convinced himself that he would be able to get it back. But then I lost nearly all of it. I lost nearly all of it, but I assured I could get it back. It was a big mistake. I maxed out all my credit cards, increased my overdraft, and even took out a loan. And before I knew it, I was £30,000 in debt. So he's gone from winning 10,000 to losing 10,000 to maxing out his credit cards and taking out bank loans and things like that in order to try and win back the initial £10,000 and found himself in £30,000 worth of debt as a result. I could think about nothing else and could see no way out. I wanted to tell my partner and my family, so he's doing all this in secret. But I couldn't get the words out. And then I got paid, and I lost all my wages within hours, which meant there was nothing left to pay my half of the bills. All I could think about was dying, and this is where gambling addiction takes us. I know with me, yeah. I mean, sadly, I used to think I used to think about suicide a lot. Um, that's where it used to take me, and I mean, it's a gambling addiction is not is not pretty. It's horrible. Um, all I could think about was dying, and I ended up slashing my wrists. He goes on to say, I don't think I wanted to die really, but it meant I had to tell people why. Um, this is what it does. It takes us to really dark places where sometimes we can see no way out. Um, he goes on to say, I did tell my partner, and it helped me and my partner helped me sort things out. He paid the bills that month and gave me the money to pay the minimum card payments, etc., to avoid charges. And I vowed I would never do it again. And this is as gambling addicts. How many times have we said, right, that is it, I am never going to do that again, only to find ourselves a few weeks or a few days later, or a couple of months later, back doing the very thing that we vowed we would never do. And he goes on, but then a few months later, I lost all my wages again. So he's slashed his wrists. He's lost £30,000. He's £30,000 in debt. Lost all his wages. Slashed his wrists. Had to tell his partner. His partner's bailed him out. Vowed he would never do it again. And then a few months later, lost all his wages again, and started taking out payday loans to try and win it all back, which of course I didn't. He goes on, I had to tell my partner again, but seeing the pain and disappointment on his face devastated me. This time he ended off taking out a loan so so I could pay off all the payday loans again, and said it would never. I said it would never happen again. I wish I had the courage to have told him how bad my problem was, but I couldn't. And he swore that if it ever happened again, he would leave me. So they've got good reason not to do it again. You know, a lot of people say, just don't gamble. If there's a strong enough reason for you to do it, such as losing your house, losing your job, bailiffs, things like that, then that should stop you. But if you're a gambling addict, unfortunately that stuff doesn't stop you, because at certain times when your mind plays tricks on you, you can't bring into the forefront of your mind all of that stuff with sufficient force and determination to stop you from doing it. This is what is meant by, in that first step of Gamblers Anonymous, we were powerless over gambling, that our lives have become unmanageable. The unmanageable part of our life is obvious when we're a gambling addict. The powerlessness part of it doesn't mean that we can't gamble. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't gamble. It means that we will gamble again unless we gain some power from somewhere to stop ourselves. He goes on, it did happen again. So here I am now with no money in the bank and well over my overdraft. Card payments and household bills are not paid. They come out of my account. The council tax is on the final demand. So in the UK with council tax, if you don't pay your council tax, you get taken to court. Bailiffs get involved. They can seize assets, things like that. The only thing I did pay was the rent this month, thank God. So I've taken out more payday loans, and I've lost all that money also. So many, in fact, I can't even remember all of the companies that I've used. This is heartbreaking, man. This is heartbreaking. This person isn't doing this by choice. They're driven by a compulsion that's beyond their mental control. He goes on, the person goes on, and I don't know how to tell him this, as it's going to destroy him. And this time he won't be able to help, because he's maxed out all of his loans and so on to help me, and I'm it goes on, I probably will lose him this time, but how can I blame him after what I'm going to put him through? I love him so much, and I don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. People say, oh, if you loved them you wouldn't do it. It's not that you don't love, it's not that you don't love the person. You don't love, it's not that you don't love or care about your partner or your children or anything like that. It's just that you can't stop yourself from doing it, which is the definition of powerlessness. I love him so much. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me and the kindest person I've ever met. Doubt my life will be worth living without him, but every day every day I leave this, things are getting worse. After my dad found out the first time, he told me, if you carry on, you'll lose everything. Never a truer word has been said. And he finishes, I'm sorry if this is so long, I had to get it out. I mean, sadly, this is a textbook case of experiences for many of us. I know with me, I tried everything I could possibly think of to stop, but I couldn't. As a gambling addict, I realise now that it was impossible for me to stop under my own steam, because whenever I tried to exert willpower, my willpower always broke. Always. It just, half the time I'd have a gambling session and then I'd be like, how the hell did I do that again? Why did I do that again? And I kept on looking for reasons. Was it because I had a difficult upbringing as a child? Well, a lot of people have fantastic childhoods and still become gambling addicts. So a lot of people have have really horrendous childhoods, but don't become gambling addicts. So it was nothing to do with my the way I was brought up or anything like that. And was it because I didn't have much money? Well, a lot of people who have vast amounts of wealth are gambling addicts, and a lot of people who have no money aren't gambling addicts. So that didn't really give me the reason. I mean, the reason I look at it now, the reason I became a gambling addict, because I was playing games which are designed specifically to keep you playing for as long as possible. They're designed to make us addicted. I mean, for me, my poison was slot machines, online slot machines, and walking amusements slot machines. And the thing is, they're designed there to keep you playing, and the longer you play, the more you play, the chances are that you're going to become addicted to them. And once you do become addicted to them, you'll know from experience, if you think you're a gambling addict, or think you have issues with gambling, that everything that you try to do to stop yourself doesn't seem to work. And this isn't due to a lack of desire to stop. I mean, the thing is, we can have even the most powerful desire in the world to try and get us to stop gambling, but it won't help. It won't help. The desire to gamble, and the only way I've understood that the desire to gamble can be of use is if we use that desire to gambling to put in some action. To enable us to find some power from somewhere to stop us from acting out on the addiction. And as I've said previously in videos, the purpose of the 12 steps is to enable you to connect with some power that can help address your problem. The 12 steps, they're a program, a spiritual, not religious, a spiritual program of action, where we try to take away the focus from being on ourselves to thinking about others. And one of the things with the second step is, I mean, once we understand that powerlessness means that we are gonna gamble again, whether we like it or not, that of our own power, we aren't going to be able to stop permanently. We might be able to do it for a day, a week, a month, but eventually the time will come when the mind twists on us and we end off gambling again. So the thing is, we with the second step, it says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Now, thinking about the word sanity, it's like all we have to do is just look at our behaviour, and in particular the person there who they won £10,000, lost £10,000, then maxed out all of their credit cards, took out £30,000 in debt to try and win back the £10,000. Then, they blew all their wages. Then they got bailed out. Then they did it all again. So that's not rational thought. So the thing is what we're looking for is to be protected from that subtle insanity that comes when we least expect it, because you can't tell when you're going to gamble again. Admitting that we're powerless just means that we understand and recognize that we are going to gamble again at some point, and that we came to believe that something other than our thinking can help us, restore us to sanity around the question of placing that first bet, around the question of gambling. And if you believe that the steps can help you do that, then the program of action just involves doing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10, and then and so on. Now, it's not a long and arduous and laborious process. It can be done relatively quickly, and you can have the experience of recognizing some of the faults in you, rather than blaming the world and so on. It's about taking responsibility. We're not responsible for the addiction, but we're responsible for the recovery from it. And the steps enable us to do that. So with the third step, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of a higher power, of God or whatever, of our own understanding. And all for me, all that really means is carrying on with the steps. So it's like we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. So okay, I came to believe that if I did the steps, I would be restored to sanity around the question of gambling. Made a decision to turn my will and my life over to this process of going through the steps, and then there's your steps 1, 2, and 3, and then we go into step 4, where we look and identify at flaws in our character, and we look at the harms we've created through our gambling. We go through all of the resentments that we have that are blocking us off from because resentments are, they're horrible, and some of us were consumed by resentments from 20, 30, 40 years ago. In some cases we hold on to resentments, and this is what kind of distorts our way of thinking and so on. But I'm not really going to go into the steps, but the thing is, they do work. They've worked for hundreds of thousands of people worldwide have found freedom through working a 12-step program. And as I always say, I advise anybody who is struggling with a gambling addiction to seek out a GA meeting and find somebody who has gone through the process of the 12 steps, who can teach you how to integrate those 12 steps into your life. And as it says in the program, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path? You know, it's easy, but it's not. Simple, but not easy. You can get through this. You can. I know people who've managed to get through the steps within a couple of weeks, who've gone through the process within a couple of weeks, and they've realised and had real big insights, and they've gained some power within their life and recognized that so long as they're actively trying to work with others, to benefit others, they're given the protection, they're given the freedom from returning to active gambling addiction. You know, and that's the experience of a lot of people. Whereas it says having had a spiritual, step 12, it says having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to gamblers who are still suffering. And you know, it works, it does work. And I know it, people might think, oh no, I don't want to do that. Well, that's fine. You don't have to. You know. But if you really are looking for a way out, why not try it? Why not? You've got nothing. Well, you've got a hell of a lot to lose, but you've got a lot to gain. You know, and you can have the life that you've always dreamed of, beyond your wildest dreams. That's what it promises. You'll have a new outlook on life, you'll experience a new sense of freedom. You know, these are some of the promises that come from going through that process. And I'm sure if you ask anybody who has gone through that process, they will say that, you know, I mean, that's what saved them. But if you do go to a GA meeting, try and look for the similarities, not the differences. So try and look for the identification, and it's imperative that you try and find somebody who's been through the steps and had that experience, who can show you how to do it. And once you've done it, then you have to show somebody else. Help somebody recover from gambling addiction. And I promise you, if you can get to the point where you're actually helping somebody to transform their life, to rebuild their life from through overcoming gambling addiction, through guiding them through the steps, you'll find the rewards you will get will be unbelievable. You will have experiences that you never thought you would. You will feel a sense of usefulness that you never thought possible. So on that positive note, I'm going to leave this here. We did start off the video on a negative note to get the identification, and then we went through a few things that I wanted to discuss. But I wish each and every one of you every success in your recovery. If you're still struggling, reach out. Break down that barrier of isolation, because you are worth it. You are worth it, regardless of what you think. You deserve the freedom that you want. You deserve the freedom from active gambling addiction that you seek. So take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye now.